use the River Boyne, and that was a distance of about 20 kilometres, or over land it's a distance of 14. But when these tombs were built, over 90% of Ireland was densely forested. The wheel hadn't been invented and they'd no horses. So to transport them over land, you'd have to cut down the trees, prepare roadways or tracks, and they could have used the logs then to roll the stones along. Or if they used the river, it's thought instead of putting the stones in boats, they could have strapped them underneath the vessel using cowhides. And then when the stones were in the water, they weighed half the amount. But they average on 3 tonne, and they brought just under 2,000 of them. So that was to build all of the monuments here, so it was a huge undertaking. Now also very difficult to carve these stones, because again we're talking about the people of the Stone Age, so before the Bronze Age, before there was any metal in use. All of these stones were carved using stone tools like flint or white quartz. They held their implement like a chisel or a punch, and they just hammered out on it. It picks off the stone. So when you look closely, you'll see all the individual pick marks. So it's called picking and pocking, and that's the most common technique that was used here. You'll see plenty of spirals, concentric circles. You have this kind of horseshoe shape just here. Down further you'll see there's like a snake or a serpentiform carving. So they're all abstract or geometric. These carvings are found on many of the other megalithic sites across Western Europe, especially the other monuments in Brittany and France, also the Orkney Islands in Scotland. So we're probably talking about people who are maybe of the same religion, beliefs, philosophies. They were all doing the same things at the same time. But what's interesting, most of the megalithic art is found here in the Boyne Valley. To date we have found over 600 decorated stones in this area. That's over 60% of all of the megalithic art from Western Europe. So the largest concentration is found right here in the Boyne Valley, and most of the art is here at Knowth. What's interesting too, many of these stones are carved on the other side, which of course we can't see now. This art was discovered during the excavations, and the archaeologists think there is the possibility that some of the stones were recycled. They could have been taken from earlier structures and then just used again in building these larger monuments. For the protection of the stones, when they rebuilt the mound, they decided to raise the cairn slightly to put in this concrete shelf. You'll see it at the back of Newgrange too. It just helps to keep the pressure and the moisture off the curbstones. And then you have this modern packed wall here behind. So that was designed just to stop all the clay from slipping forward. Originally, the mound came right down and sat on top of these boulders. Their function really was to act like a belt, a retaining feature, to hold the mound together. So it would have looked like the small tombs that you see there behind. Okay, we'll go this way.